turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
Welcome to The Best of Intentions, a podcast from Intention Films and Media, hosted by writer, director, former film commissioner, and novelist Deborah Markowitz. So join us as we talk about all things creative.
Hi, I'm Debbie Markowitz with the Best of Intentions podcast, the podcast of Intention Films and Media. We're so happy to be back in the studio today. We missed being here with Tony and in this awesome place. I'm really happy to have a friend, a filmmaker, somebody who was actually one of my first acting teachers, 20, 30 years ago.
Gotta be.
But I would like to welcome a writer, director, actor, I think mostly actor, but we'll talk about that. Acting teacher, photographer, I'm just about everything, but welcome, Russ Camarda.
Pleasure to be here, Debbie. It's been a long time. Good to see you in person.
Yeah, I know. Everything's been online.
Yeah.
So out of all those things, because you do them all equally well, what would you say, if you could only pick one thing, what it would be?
Oh, I mean, I loved directing. I did it in the theater. I did it in film, and I love teaching. I loved all that stuff. But the gig is acting, because at this stage in my life, I don't want to carry stuff and show up first and go home last all the time anymore. I'd like to just go in, do my job, and go home. So to be an actor, that's the gig. That's the most fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, you're so incredible. I know that you were in my short By Blood.
Yeah.
I know I cast you in Brooklyn Banker. I helped get you.
Yeah, that was the Federico
My Cross to
Castelluccio
Bear.
thing. Yeah.
My Cross to Bear. You were in that as well.
Long time. All that stuff was like 10 years ago.
I know.
Since we worked together. 10 years ago.
You blink your eye, though, and it's
amazing.
Yeah, so it's really incredible. And you have a new film this year.
Yeah. I produced with my buddy Ed Uther, who wrote and directed his first feature-length film, The Proctor, which is it's funny. It's a comedy, like a throwback to the old John Hughes, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, and it's making its way into the festival circuit right now. It's going to be in the Long Island International Film Expo in July. It's in a Manhattan Film Festival coming up soon, so it's making its rounds now. But we shot that last year, cut it over the fall and winter, and now it's out. And it's a great, fun picture.
I can't wait to see it. I have to see it. We've been kind of crazy busy, but it sounds like the kind of film we need right now. Something that's just light and fun.
Yes.
And that's why I did Waitlist when it started as a one-day film. I just wanted to do something just fun. And I said I want to be like a John Hughes movie.
Yeah.
A little light romantic thing with some great music in the background. And then it became a feature film and everything changed.
Yeah, we tried to make it look and sound just like one of those pictures and have the feel of that teen high school comedy of the 80s, but reflect sort of the kids today and what their issues are, which is obviously clearly totally different than anything we ever experienced. I learned a lot about how kids process things today. It's a whole different mindset, but it's sort of a Gen X meets Gen Z clash. The main character is played by Ed, who wrote and directed the picture. He's a guy who's 56 years old, who's stuck in high school since 1986, and he's finally found a way to graduate, but he's got to make a couple of deals to do it. So it's sort of this, how the kids teach him how to be a little more responsible, and how he teaches them how to loosen up a little bit. And it's Gen X meets Gen Z, and it's ridiculous and fun, and I play a role in it that's very different than the things you normally see me do. I'm not killing him or raping anybody.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
I'm the goofy principal. So it was fun to do comedy. It was fun to do lighthearted stuff, and like I said, real fun for especially Gen X people. There's like 130 references to our music and our movies and so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like I need a weekend if I could just have some people leave the house, not John, but if I could have some people leave the house, I would just want to watch like John Hughes movies. And who's the other person? Somebody Savage, something or another?
Yeah, I can't.
You know, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's someone else who did that kind of film that, like, Better Off Dead and
yes,
16 Candles.
Yep.
And I just kind of want to just watch that stuff and like eat watermelon or something. I don't know, but I just want to.
Light, high key lighting and just, an up feeling picture.
And everything, I'm sure, is so incredibly socially inappropriate.
That's the point.
To today.
That's the point. He does not fit with today's kids, so it's a lot of fun.
I think they still have to show those movies, but there should be disclaimers. It's like, this was cool then, not so much cool now because we learned stuff, or whatever. But I definitely need that kind of stuff. Now, I remember another really great role you did, and I think it was at The Night Never Sleeps where you played the Iceman.
Oh, yeah, that was the Fred Carpenter, my Fred Carpenter period, my blue period. Night Never Sleeps was, I produced that and starred in it with Dan Brennan, and that was a Fred Carpenter movie back. That's got to be 10 years going by now. Yeah, it's got to be a decade. That was a typical Russ Camarda role. Dark. Yeah. I think I was a psychopath, and I
Didn't
killed.
You have like one? You were wearing one.
I had one blue eye.
It was so cool.
Well, what the funny story about that thing was that script, when it came to us, Dan and I were just bit parts. I had a one scene part, and it was really written for like a 17-year-old Dominican gangbanger. And Fred Carpenter, who anybody on Long Island remembers Fred Carpenter, is a strange character, but he cast us in this, and my buddy Dan had a little direct detective role, like a one-scener, and it was going to be originally produced by William Forsythe.
Oh, right.
He was going to be the lead detective. There was going to be another bad guy. It was a whole thing, and he gives me this role from a 17-year-old Dominican gangman. I said, "Are you sure you want me to play this part?" Because I was 45 or something at the time. And then Forsythe fell out of it. The whole thing fell apart. And then Fred said, "We can't do the movie." And Dan, unbeknownst to me, told Fred, "Oh, we'll do your movie for you. Russ has all the gear. We'll do it."
Oh, God.
And I didn't know. And then Dan said, "I told Fred we're going to do it, but we're going to change it." And now and I said, "Okay, well, now I'm the lead bad guy, and Dan's the lead guy." And so that one scene, the rest of that show, 95% of that part that I played was improvised.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
that.
I
just sort of inhabited this, and I created a character that was, clearly had been in prison for a long, like more fit my age, and I started putting neck tattoos, and I just built a character, which is something I don't normally do, physicalize, things like that, but it was a lot of fun. And those characters are scene stealers. They,
Oh yeah.
Anytime you're a psycho and you're killing people. Mm-hmm. But that was a great experience. Fred was a wild ride. He was a very interesting character, and we produced that picture. I edited that picture too, and great character to play.
Yeah.
Great character.
See, I didn't know that backstory. I mean, obviously, I've known Fred forever, but
Yeah.
and I know we talked about it before you guys came on. What do you think about these guys? They're great actors. I didn't realize all that other backstory.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I said, we will do it. I said, I'll bring all my gear. I'll shoot it. I'll cut it. I'll do all this stuff for points, which, by the way, what's it? 20 years, I still haven't seen a dime out of that.
No, nobody sees points. Yeah.
But I did all that for the opportunity. Because I thought at the time, I'm like, well, geez, I'm pretty long in the tooth already. If I can create a compelling character that gets into a cult picture, maybe I'll do this for nothing, basically for nothing. And then maybe somebody will see it and go, who the hell is that guy? And nobody ever did. Because the mistake independent filmmakers make is you put all this effort into production and then you don't leave enough money to market it.
Yeah.
So all those movies are on Amazon. You can see all my movies and stuff on Amazon, on Tubi, and all that. Just nobody knows they're there.
Yeah.
So you gotta push it.
I didn't realize our feature just came out, I don't know, a month ago, Waitlist, A Love Story, and it's moved up to the Prime Spotlight films, so people are watching it. I had no idea how much work promotion was.
Yeah.
No idea. And because of the film festival, I haven't had time to put in for like at least a week, but I know I have to get back on it. And it's like every day just hammering away.
And now even more with with TikTok and Instagram, it's like, more content? How much content do we have every day we got to do this?
I know. So now I have people, but all these people cost money. I have a PR person.
Yes,
I have a social media person. I've got
That's right.
somebody answering just my work emails.
Like we were talking earlier, it's like, well, I don't want to do this by myself anymore.
I don't want to either.
So that was, and then right after that we did a second Fred Carpenter film. We had become into
Jesse?
Send No Flowers.
Oh, Send No Flowers.
Where
Right.
again,
We
I was-
weren't in Jesse.
No,
John was in Jesse.
Yeah, I think
and-
that was before me. I think he
John
did-
was in Night Never Sleeps.
Yeah,
with
he
you.
was in Night Never
He
Sleeps.
Was Carl. Yeah.
He was the guy at
The
that was the
Chop
first
Shop.
day of shooting, by the way, was his scene.
Oh, really?
That was rolling camera scene one. And that's when both Dan and I, at the time, we had never worked with Fred before. And we set up the shot. It was acting kind of as a first AD as well, because we were kind of. And I remember setting up the first shot with John and the sparks coming off.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
And we're ready to roll, and it's like, okay. And I looked around, and I was waiting for Fred to say, I'm like, okay, we're good. And finally, I just turned around, action. I'm like, is this guy? What is he doing? It was just he was like Chuck Barris. Remember Chuck Barris from the Gong Show? I loved. He's a really sweet guy, but just so. What a ride working with those two movies were nuts.
Oh my God.
But great pictures. You can see them all on Amazon now. So
Yeah. Now you also did. I think the first feature I saw was it Lower Than the Angels.
Lower Than the Angels was my first
Yeah,
feature.
that
That's
was really-
23 years ago now.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was based on a play that my friend Linda Hansen wrote. It was a 3-character play, and I adapted it into a screenplay, and again, real heavy sort of. That one was like miracles and religious overtones, and that was my first feature. I was, I dove right in. Never had done a feature film before, so I just produced, directed that, shot that one, and that never won. That went through the festival circuit, but never really got out there to be
Do you
distributed.
have it on Amazon too? Or
No, that one's not distributed. What I want to do with that one is I'd love to go back and revisit it and redo it, and take a lot of create a new script, and then make it almost like a flashback. And because it was shot back then on mini DV, so you'd have to blow it up and kind of force case scale it. So I couldn't do much with it as a feature probably, but it's that's a good one. I was happy with
that was interesting, very unique.
Yeah,
as I
very
remember.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, a couple of guys, which we started a million years ago, it was supposed to be we came with a 3-season arc because we're really hopeful this was going to be.
I know it was going to be a series, right?
Yeah, it was going to be a series, and then it got to the point there's no way we're going to do 3 seasons. So let's do 10-episode limited series. Okay, it's like, you know what, we can't keep raising money for 6 episode limited series. Then it got to the point where let's just freaking cut the shit out of what we have already because it was 4 episodes completed.
Sure.
Let's just cut the heck out of that, and then let's just write the second half, and let's just do it because the actor's going to age out. We're going to age out.
Yeah, right.
It's like 9 years we're working on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
You know, luckily it's on, well, not film, but digital, high quality
Sure.
digital. So, you know, that it all still looks really great. But just got to the point where we got to get this out. I have to finish it this year. And we managed to come up with an insane 6-day schedule. I told John, can we do this in 6 days? Because we're going to be broke if we don't do this in 6 days. And John's came up with a schedule, goes, I don't know, this is going to be kind of impossible, but we can try. And then
Nothing's impossible.
Yeah, I brought in Mara Bush, who's a phenomenal AD, who's now works, she's a producer on ABC News, but she took off 6 days. And her and Mark Ryu shot it because we wanted to stay with Mark. He's the one who originally shot it because he has his own unique style. And damn it, we got through it in 6 days.
Happy with it?
I'm really happy.
All right, that's all that counts.
I mean, I'm happy with the pieces.
Yeah.
But as you know, until you see the whole
well,
thing
yeah,
together.
the edit's where the thing comes together.
But I think it's going to be awesome.
That's always my favorite part. I edit for a living, you know.
And that's your favorite part, editing?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, no.
Editing narrative features and stuff, I like. Editing the stuff that I do outside of, I hate that. I can't stand editing. I have to get up and walk around. But editing narrative building performances is one of my favorite things.
Nice.
Because you can really turn a not so good performance into a good performance into a great performance.
Yeah.
You can really do that, and that's the part I like the best.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, one thing I kind of annoy John with, but I always take things a little further than they need to go because I want to see what the actor's going to do after.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially Last Taxi Driver with Robert Claessy, who was one of the funniest humans you ever want to work with.
He was in The Night Never Sleeps too.
Yeah, he is in The Night
That's
Never
right.
Sleeps. That's right. But he was the star of The Last Taxi Driver, which is just a goofy zombie comedy. But most of the funniest stuff in it, he just made up. And,
Sure.
You know, it's like, we'd keep it. We're
Yeah.
just keeping that. So you know if you leave the camera on him, he's going to do something ridiculous.
Yeah, and a lot of times what people don't realize is, you know, what you need when you're watching it as an editor, you're watching it as a director basically, and you're saying, you know, I need this reaction here for that line from this character, and they didn't do it in that take, or they didn't do it in any takes, but maybe they did it in another scene. And you're like, you know what, I can use. So you're really assembling performance to get the vibe you want out of the thing, and that's always fun for me. It's like a little puzzle, you know, to find the right reaction for things.
See, I do not have the short-term, not really short-term, medium-term memory, is that one? But like, I will like something, and then we go on. It's like, what the hell one did I like? You know.
Yeah,
But when you can do that, I mean, I see what great editors can do. I'm so in awe of that because I don't have the patience.
Yeah,
and I mean, I've used a few editors. One of my most used editors at this point is Rob Riley, and we had such an issue on one of our films. A short we did where the homeowner just kind of basically lost her mind and just but like wouldn't give us air conditioning in the middle of the summer, and then she just called me up to scream at me for 15 minutes. And this is somebody we'd worked with before, no problem. We weren't having any problem, but apparently she was having a problem.
Sure.
And you lied. And I'm like, what did I lie about? She just go, there's too many people. I was like, you knew how many people were here, you know, just craziness. People, the cops are going to, you know, neighbors are going to call the cops because we're on the street, so let's tell them to move. Well, I did. I said, did they not move? They did. I'm like, then the neighbors aren't going to call the...
Yeah.
I mean, it's like...
Your typical independent
so,
film.
And then it just
set.
ended up with, you have to leave 3 hours early. It's like, oh,
there you
fuck.
go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, better yet, though, is when we went in, we had tech scattered 2 weeks before with her. She was excited. She wanted to do production design. And okay, you can. It's wonderful. That's fine. The week before, because I don't hear anything from her, I'm like, do you need anything from me? And no, I'm fine. And then a few days before, she said, I don't want to do this fucking production design. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. We got it covered. That's all good. And
these are flags, by the way.
I know, but we were all it'll be fine.
Just so you know.
No, her long time, everything's fine. And then we go into shoot. She's moved all the furniture
Oh,
and all the artwork.
yeah, that's nice.
So this was where artwork featured.
That's her production design.
That was her production
Very
design.
nice.
So everything we had planned, which she had planned with
Right.
us, was
Gone.
not there.
Nice.
So we're like, okay, I'm a director. We can do this. We'll just change this shot to this, change this shot to this, or whatever. And then when she said you have to leave like 3 hours early, it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, what can we cut?
That's it.
Well, because because somebody had hired us to do that, it's I have to give her a movie. So John's like, well, our house isn't that different in color. So we had Travis come to our house, and we did cut-ins because he's a handy person in the movie, fixing this, fixing that, and John's like right here on top of him. And at the end of it, I just remember sending everything to Rob Riley and go, please don't make me cry.
Yeah.
Because I'm crying. Don't make me cry because I won't make you cry. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I won't make you cry.
Yeah.
And he moved a bunch of stuff around. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, I can't say anything yet. Let me watch it again a few times because it's different than what I actually wrote. Sure. But then by the morning, I looked and went,
well, yeah, works. I mean, that's the thing is the one thing about storytelling, especially in film, and there is no, I always say there's no ownership along the way, from writer to director to actor to audience, everybody owns it. And in film, you put the editor in there right before the audience. So if you're a writer and you're precious about it and you're hanging on, the world's gonna eat you alive. It's especially in film. It's not your thing. It's you were the prism by which the thing came through. Mm-hmm. And then the director, I always say the directors have a vision. Come on with the vision. Okay, just do you have a story to tell the story, but then you're going to give it to actors who breathe life into it. Yes. They're going to do something totally different. Then the editor comes in and they assemble it in a way that maybe, first of all, probably needs to happen because certain things, especially in independent film, like that example, you got to compensate for things. And then ultimately the audience gets it. Yeah. And they decide what the movie is. Yeah. So the writer and the director and the actor and the editor, they can all kiss somebody's ass. In the end, the audience is, so you have to be in a constant state of letting go. Mm-hmm. As an artist, especially as a filmmaker, you're constantly letting go, and especially at the budget levels that we've been having to deal with and work at, where you're begging and borrowing. And I never decide, we were talking about this outside, I never decide anything until I'm in the spot. Yeah. And it's like, okay, this is, a storyboard. Why would I do that? I'm going to burn it. I'm going to light it on fire anyways. Once I get into the spot, I'm going to know there's my lead lines, there's my angle, there's my frame, and this helps tell the story this way, or something informs me completely differently than I expected it to. And it's like, that's the fun part. Yeah, like it's magic then. That's the best.
Happy accents are the best. Because Lucas, like in Couple of Guys, Lucas was not supposed to be the lead. And he's amazing. Yeah. Incredible. And it's only because the actor turned out to be a jerk.
See, there you go.
Actor. And so, let's bring in Lucas. And it's just like we had him and Sal Reed together. It's like magic.
Yeah.
Magic. Best thing that could happen. And a lot of those little happy accident things.
That's right. Can you imagine Bill Forsythe or me in Night Never Sleeps? Come on. For God's sake. Give me some credit.
Gotta make it happen. So, I think one of the coolest happy accidents we ever had, unfortunately it's a movie that probably won't ever be seen, but I was directing a movie written by another writer, and John was the star in it. And it's a silent film, except for music. And it's just about this downtrodden farmer who everything in his life sucks, and his wife dies, and we went upstate to film this, I think during COVID, if I'm correct.
Oh, so like a John Hughes movie.
and basically it's just he runs into this ghoul who basically kind of saves his ass.
Ghoul, Ghoul,
yeah,
okay, not girl.
And as John is sitting there on the hay bales, first of all, there's a lot of cool stuff that happened, but John's sitting there on the hay bales. Something's eating his chickens. He didn't know about the ghoul yet, and he's just sitting there like his life sucks. And there's a spider web in the corner, and as he's sitting there, a fly flies into it, and a spider runs over and eats it.
Nice.
I'm like,
wow.
And I told him, no matter what you do, that must stay there.
That's great.
Because here he is. He's getting eaten alive by life. And
that's awesome.
Oh, my God.
Debbie, we thought that was amazing how you put that spider in there. Yeah. You like that, right?
So talented. It was before AI.
We had a wrangler, spider wrangler, which is hard to find today.
But it was really, spider wranglers. Oh, my God.
They were very popular in the 70s.
So those little accident things that just make it amazing.
Well, that's what, you said I was your acting teacher, right? And that was what all those courses I taught back whenever were based on. It was all about moment to moment work, and you learn your lines, you do your prep, you do whatever research you want to do, and you build whatever kind of base of a character, and you learn your stuff. But then once you get up there, either on stage or in front of the camera, It's listening and reacting and adjusting beat to beat in the moment, and anything can happen. And then the lines fall wherever they may. So if you're trying to rehearse a line to go up here and then come down here and then here I want to do this, you're missing the point of the truth. There is no right or wrong to it. There's only truth. And if it's not truthful, if people can see the architecture, audiences can't even articulate it, but they feel it.
They don't feel it. They feel it's not real.
Yeah. So you got to be,
real.
and that goes with everything. Shooting, directing, just open up, let go.
Yeah. Christine Vachon says something that it just totally hits me, and that is, some people say the script is everything, and to a point it is. Some people say the editing is, and
well,
yes,
it starts there.
But she says, but actors, she said, that the reason a lot of times they seem standoffish is they have to be almost translucent to really bring their truth out there. She said, and if you have compelling actors, almost nothing else matters.
Yeah.
People will watch them in anything.
That's
and
right.
so that's why I'm so particular about who I pick. And I'm watching the monitor and watching you guys just do this thing you do.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed, and sometimes, the AD will have to go, because I'm watching this like it's
well,
a
that's
TV.
good. That's the way it should be.
And
That's
then
the
I
way it should
know
be.
that it's what exactly it needs
Yeah.
to be, which is just so awesome.
Truthful. It has to be truthful.
Yeah,
Otherwise
absolutely.
it's useless.
You had me do one role in your acting class.
Yeah, I remember. I know exactly what it is. I can remember it to this day. It was one of my favorite moments.
You told me, I think we picked out our own scripts for the most part, but at this point you said, no, I'm going to have you do this one. You gave me the Jack Nicholson role in A Few Good Men. And I'm like, are you serious? And you're like, yeah, I want to see what you do with this. And I think it was the guy Kenny or somebody.
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
I don't remember his name, but I can't remember what he looked like. But all I know is that was so much fun. And then it was over. There was like nothing. All the students from the audience, I'm like,
Stunned silence, yeah.
I know. Everyone's sitting with
Yeah.
their jaws open. I'm like, I guess it was good. And then everybody started clapping. I'm like, that was awesome.
Yeah, because the whole point of those scene study classes that I taught was about playing an action, not playing the script, not playing the text, finding something that was the objective of the character and how you wanted to achieve it. And then the lines don't matter. You just memorize them by rote. They are what they are, but don't emphasize that. And that was an exercise in that, just because if you especially, and that's probably why I did it. I did that to a lot of students. I would give them things that were very memorable, because it's like, if you cannot do it that way, if you start falling into Jack Nicholson, we know there's a problem, right? So I want to see the truth of your action, the action you picked, and whatever you did at that point was I remember that people were excited about it. That was great. I used to have fun teaching. I love teaching, especially I love teaching people who had no experience, and I had no, because the other folks who I would teach all different kinds, and the ones who were trained in all other methods and things came in with a lot of baggage, so you'd have to kind of be like, all right, well, you can do that, but let's try this. And so those were fun. I used to love doing that.
I mean, one of my most fun things that I like to do is, John used to be the technical director at LaGuardia Arts, the Fame School. And so they had asked me if I would be one of the judges for the incoming students. And you'd see such incredible people. Oh, man. But then there'd also be some people you go, who's your teacher? We knew exactly who the teacher was.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely.
Because they were so over-rehearsed that even if you would tell them to do it a different way, they couldn't, because they were so locked into this. And it's like, this person should just not be a teacher.
And that's the whole thing, is it has to be free. You have to be able, I go back to, and that's, as it turns out, that's the theme of most of the things I've written, most of the screenplays I've done. Most of the things that I write are all about the act of letting go, and that's what the lesson I'm trying to learn in my life constantly is good, bad, indifferent, no matter what it is, bliss or horror, it's going to leave you, and you got to be ready to let it go and move on. And the arts kind of are a great lesson for that. So I'm always constantly trying to do that in my work.
Yeah, I just had this bizarre thought. I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to anyway.
Uh-oh.
It's just what
I'm keeping all my clothes on. So.
Oh, damn it.
Anyway,
with everything going to crap and AI taking over just about everything. And I was saying to John the other day, wouldn't it be fun? It's the only way anybody can make a living anymore would be the arts.
Well, here's the thing about, here's the thing, you're right, because what's going to happen is, look, it's a great tool. It's an amazing tool. It's going to do amazing things for research, for everything. And even in the arts, I mean, there's got to be a lot of VFX people who are going to be out of work, but it's a great tool. But like we said before, the same with the over-rehearsed actor. Human beings sense inauthentic stuff.
Yeah.
We're not going to watch Pixar and all the time. You sense inauthenticity. You want truth. So what will happen is like they just had the first AI accepted film in Tribeca, right?
I know.
Now, fine. That's going to happen more and more as the technology improves, which is like literally every Tuesday it gets more exponentially phenomenal. That's going to happen more and more. But the people, especially the people with money, are going to they're going to want their vinyl. They're going to be like, what's the human premium? I'll pay anything for the human premium. So if I was doing comedy, stand-up comedy, or live theater, I'd invest in that. Because where can I go in 5 to 10 years where I see guaranteed in front of me that's a living, breathing human? I can go and touch him. He's real. I'll pay for that. That's going to happen because there'll be this little divide where it's like I can't deal with this slop all the time. Some of it's phenomenal. Some of it's great. Some of it's awful. 90% of it's awful. 10% of it's great. Whatever. But I need that sliver where it's like I'm willing to pay to see them crying in front of me, to see them raging in front of me on stage. So you might see some underground community theaters and stuff suddenly rise back up because people will pay for it.
Yeah.
And we used to say in the theater, when we did the local theaters, the people were so old, the audience, you're like, nobody's going to go to these shows anymore. They're going to die. Well, I guarantee you all these Gen Z kids and all that stuff, when they start going out and having hopefully some disposable income or whatever they have, they're going to be like, where can I pay to see human beings? So
I like that.
get some live theater going.
I know.
And then those of us who are trained in this or stand up or whatever, it's going to be like, okay, time to clean up.
I just think it'd be hilarious. It's almost the hardest business in the world to make a living at. Who doesn't have a job besides that? But imagine if that was then you were in demand because people want real people. They want to.
Totally
they want
possible.
to connect to a real person.
Absolutely.
I mean, not everybody, but I think most
the
people.
arts, acting, film, theater, it gets shit on a little bit because people think it's sort of elitist or it's privileged or it's silly but you got to understand when we go through life, every moment that we're in life, we have a little bit of armor on to protect us, to help us navigate through the world. So there's all this truthful love and hate and anger and fear and all this stuff inside that we never allow ourselves to deal with. But you go in a dark room and you watch a theater and you watch somebody representing that truthful thing in a safe place where you can connect with it and say, that's me, or that I feel that. What could be more valuable than that? That's what artists do. They connect community together and let you be human in a space that's safe, so it's not outside in the world where there's consequences. And what a great release valve. Laughter, tears, drama, comedy, tragedy, all of it is. Did you see what was that movie this year? That's the one good thing about. We were talking about Am I SAG, right? It's one good thing about SAG is I get the freaking movies every year.
Screeners, yeah.
But the Hamnet, did you see Hamnet?
So good.
Right?
So
Spoiler alert.
good.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
The end piece. That's it.
I just got chills. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't understand. This character comes in to see this play that she's never been to a play, and she's immediately sort of angered that they're stealing truth from her life.
Yeah.
But in a moment, everybody's sharing it.
Oh, I just got chills thinking about that.
That's what we do.
Movie.
That's what we do. At the best, that's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
And when you're directing a piece, when you're writing a piece, when you're acting in a piece, that's what you should be thinking about is, how do they reach out and touch this so that they feel human again? It sounds high and mighty, but it's really very simple.
No, it's true. I mean, I started as a writer. I wrote 3 novellas and I self-published them. And there's such a difference in my writing for the first one to the second one to the third one and how I write now.
Sure.
And every time I want to go back and write the first one, people tell me, please don't touch it. Don't touch a thing.
Right.
Even though I know it's not perfect.
That's right.
It's because I know the emotion in it. Because when I was writing these, I'm crying and I'm screaming, and John's going, just throwing chocolate at me. But
throwing chocolate. I like it.
But it's and then you
Bringing him
read
home.
all the characters back as you're doing it to make sure that it sounds truthful and real and whatever. And I always said that I may not be a perfect writer, but if I feel it, then the
Somebody
audience
will.
and the reader's
Absolutely.
gonna feel it. So if you can
Absolutely.
take yourself out of that sentence isn't structured correct, whatever, and just go for the feeling of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have people all the time saying, "Oh my God, I just got your books 20 years later," whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and then I feel like I need to put a disclaimer on the page like, "This is the first thing I wrote."
Oh yeah, well,
I know
well,
it's
we all do that.
imperfect.
Yeah,
I know it's imperfect, but I still stand by the story.
yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, we constantly do that. Every time we put up a movie, it's like, by the way, before you go in, just so you know, it's this long. I know this part you're not gonna like. We're always.
I know. Oh my God, I do that. This is like wait list. I can tell you what's wrong with it, and it's like I didn't really see it until I saw it on the screen.
Let me ask you: when you go see the picture, do you sit?
When I see my picture,
Yeah. Do you
oh,
sit?
hell yeah.
I stand at the door.
Why?
I can't sit in the thing. I can't sit there and watch it. I watch it, but I'm like I need to be able to go out quick. If you know what I mean, like run if I had to.
No, I actually love watching my movies.
I love watching them, but I can't when there's.
You can't sit
I
there?
can't sit. I can't sit.
Yeah, see, I want to see what's going on around me. Like, wait,
Ah.
listen, the parts where I thought were hilarious, and I hear people laugh, I'm like, yes. And then the parts where I hear, yeah, okay. And then I'll sit there and go, you know what? If I had to edit this again, which it's done, it's out, I'm not
Yeah.
going to edit again, but I would cut out this scene, I would cut out that scene.
sure.
Because I really think the only problem is it's a little too long.
Yeah.
But I said it's also the kind of film, it's not that it's great art.
Right.
It's a fun movie. The people who
Right.
love this
Right.
type of movie aren't going to care. And
Yeah.
most people are like, no, it's perfect. Don't touch
Right.
it. And then filmmakers are like, if you cut out these two
Yeah.
scenes. Because filmmakers are our worst critics.
When we did the Proctor, like I said, Ed, this is his first feature-length screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
He's been an actor in the theater for decades, and an actor on stage and a director on stage, and he's been doing different little parts in movies. Well, he was in Send No Flowers with me. That's I think where we first met, and he came to me when he first started writing this, and he's like, got to be honest, and I feel the same way. I'm not doing this little part in this guy's movie and helping this friend out. It's like, and I said, well, do what I do. Because I said, nobody's calling me anymore either. Nobody's giving me any calls. I said, write your own thing. Write your thing. I'll make it with you. And then once we got it together and we put it up there and he wrote it, and I think he wrote it in a record amount of time, and we put the effort in. It was another one of those difficult independent films to do. It's small crew, the whole thing, no budget. We made it. Looks great, fantastic. I cut it to kind of his vision of it and my vision of it, but it is, to me, we could still do some things to it, and we probably will before it eventually gets out to streaming. But he's like, should we do that now? And I said, no. I said, this is because all of it's good, all of the jokes are good, but you don't need them all.
Right.
But I'm like, they're all in there. This is your movie.
This is the director's
This
cut,
is the
at least.
direct. This
Yeah.
is the one you.
Yeah.
Do it. Put it out, and let's enjoy this one. We want to play with it later. That's up to you. But and we all get that way. And he was having that feeling like, well, should I do it now? I'm like, no, don't do it yet. Do this first. Enjoy the thing that in its full, form, and then we'll tweak it and stuff later. But he did respect that advice. It was like, look, nobody's calling you. Nobody's calling me. We got to do these things ourselves, and that's the way it goes.
You got it.
Brilliant as I am, nobody's
Actually,
calling.
you are, actually. Yeah, it's you have to do it yourself. I spoke at this panel a few months ago, influential women in film or some nonsense or another, and somebody asked me, did I feel that being a woman hurt me in the industry? I'm like, well, no. And she said, no. I said, well, if you're the boss, if you're making your own work and you're the boss,
Right.
you call the shots.
Right.
Good, bad, or indifferent, you're calling the shots. So who I hire. Who I fire. So it's not, if I had to go by standards, I probably wouldn't be getting a job. I don't know. But as an artist, you don't wait. You find a way to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. We both understand, and most people do it. Time is vicious, and it's moving quicker at every second. So
Scary.
I only got so many swings left, and it's like I'm gonna do the ones I want to do. The next project, the next whatever it is going to be. You try and step up and do things.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, like I kind of measure things now, and okay, how many more features? I know we're going to do Yuletide probably end of 2027, but maybe we'll do Franklin before then. That's a horror film.
Oh, horror.
It's based on Brimstone. So we have 3 Brimstones. 1, 2, 4. We have 4 Brimstones. We have the short Brimstone, which is John Marine. He is he's lead with Travis Grant, and then Julia Weiner had a small part in it, which I wrote, and it was so much fun to do. It was so great. And then John wrote a Brimstone.
And these are the short versions.
That's
of it.
the short film, which is he's won Best Acting Awards at several film festivals for that. We haven't really had it out there long enough. And then John writes a Brimstone Lullaby, which I read, which is from the wife's perspective. I'm like, it's even darker than mine. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun. So I have to get that out there, and I haven't had time to do that.
Sure.
But when we did the first Brimstone, I started getting really obsessed with how the young man and the young woman would have met each other. And I wanted to know their story. Because I knew from his character, having written it, he was a former heroin addict. He came from a very abusive childhood. Why would she get involved with him? And so I wrote a whole feature, which is in editing right now. It's in post, you have to do some ADR and whatever. But then I said, this needs to be a horror movie, though. We need to take off from her dream to this happening, where they're going to... the father's died, and they're going to the house to sign the papers there, and there's just all kinds of very interesting things that happen once we get there. So,
well, that's a genre that's always going to do well for you, because you don't really have to have anybody in it.
Yeah.
Look at that one. They just the Obsession and that just took off, and I haven't seen it either.
That's a horror film?
It's a horror. I think it's a thriller horror. I want to say it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be totally full of shit. But then there's the clown guy.
Terrifying.
That guy took off.
I know.
So it's always a genre that you don't really need. You need 1 or 2 locations and nobody, and just a good premise.
Yeah.
So I never got to do real horror stuff, but so
I
might be one.
I want to do. I'm excited about that.
So let me ask you: when you're writing, right?
Yes.
Where does your story start? Because I usually have a great ending of something in my head, and I work my way
Sometimes.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes. You know what? Nothing is 100% with me.
Okay.
So when I wrote my novels, the first one, I kind of just came up with the idea of some characters, a location, because I used to spend a lot of time in Montauk, and so I wrote that whole story from there. As far as Sarah and Caleb, the first one's Naked in the Rain. As far as Sarah and Caleb, I kind of wanted to do a piece that would feature the characters from Naked in the Rain, but as if they had been reincarnated from the Civil War period. So then I did all the research and the research.
So you have a premise.
I did have a premise
and
for that.
And then they start to talk to you? Is that
oh my God, yeah, they don't shut up.
Okay.
When I did Waitlist, but when I did the
John's sitting there like, yeah, okay, they don't shut up.
I never shut up. But the third book, Cormac Wynn, I kind of knew the characters I wanted, and I threw out the first 30 pages, I don't know how many times. I go, it's not working, not working. And then I realized what I wanted to happen midway through the book.
Yeah.
And as soon as I figured that out, I could write the rest of the book,
right.
and then it was easy for me to go back and write the front.
Yeah.
But I find
Does it come fast?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Crazy.
Wow.
I mean, Cormac Wynn, actually, I'm going to say that took me years to write, only because I was going through a divorce and my head was not, I couldn't even read a paragraph. So that kind of, I tried writing, it didn't feel real.
You like writing? Do you like it? Do you like the process of actually writing?
I love writing.
Oh man,
Love
for you.
writing.
Good for you.
Yeah. So then screenplays took off, and I find what I do more than not is if the actors inspire me. It's like a jigsaw puzzle to me, like with Brimstone and Travis. We had just finished Waitlist, a lovely story, and he'd know that John used to act. John went to the Yale School of Drama, and I'm like, well, yeah, he was all the lead roles in college and high school and whatever, and then he went into the technical aspect of it, and he said, I want to do something with John. Let's do something like Good Will Hunting. I'm like, no, I want to see what you can do. I really want to see what you can do. And so I kind of looked at John and Travis, like, well, who would they be to each other? I said, well, he would have to be the father. And then I kind of looked at the personalities, and then I kind of said, oh, this is really cool and dark and evil.
Okay.
And I took a lot of sayings that John has heard growing up. Not that he was an abused child, but his mother was very religious
Mm-hmm.
and would talk to things that weren't there or may have
Okay,
been there, and
sure.
nobody else could see them. But it was sort of like you were not put on this earth to enjoy yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're put here to earn. So I
Sure.
used all that, but I used it in a way that made the father abusive.
Okay.
And his son could never please him, and so he would literally just beat the living shit out of his son. And the son turned to drugs at some point. And
So all of that comes from just thinking of the two actors.
Yes.
That's nice. Nice to you got to be an actor in your circle, because then people start writing stuff for you.
So then with Julia, because she was, I needed a wife, and I'm like, who we bring up? Well, Julia's a lot younger than Travis, but I can write something about that. So then I put her in that, and Franklin has a few words like, why'd you marry that young thing? You know, okay. And then I want to see why would they have gotten together?
Right.
Because clearly he is just this, I don't want to say he's a dirtbag, but he's a very damaged young man. And she is just this light and airy, you know. And so I made her a very, very advanced college student. She's
Okay.
going to save the world. She's going to whatever. And he becomes one of her subjects as she does her dissertation on trauma and addiction.
Interesting.
And oh man, the acting in that.
That's
Woo!
great. That's great. That's
That's-
well, you're a fan. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. So I like to play with actors that have this range because I want to see what they can do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well, writing for me is the hard part. That's
I love writing.
that's the only time it came really fast for me. One time was I did the feature Night for Day, which is the vampire romance one, and I was coming home from a gig on the train from the city late at night one night. This is a while back, however long ago that was, and I thought I was watching this lights passing by outside the window, and I thought I want to do something like American Graffiti, or what was the Scorsese one with Griffin Dunn, something that takes place all in one night.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, and I just was watching this, and I'm like, but the stakes have to be high. And I was kind of coming home, and I was thinking of a musician coming home from a gig, and I'm like, what would be the stakes between sunrise and sunset? Sunrise and sunset. The first thing that came into my head was a vampire, and I'm like, okay, the vampire is in love, and he's got to get to the woman he loves before sunrise. And then all the characters out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This one's talking to you, and that one's talking to
Yeah.
you. And so
That's
that
what
must happen to you all the time.
All the time.
Very rare for me, but.
Yeah. Yeah, with Waitlist, we did this in one-day film. Again, I wanted to do something just happy. And I had never worked with Travis before, but we had just bought the new red Komodo X, and whenever we get something new, we try to do something either for somebody for free or for us just
To test it out,
make sure
sure.
everything works. So Travis just happened to be contacting me about something, and I had him audition for a commercial, and I said, hey, do you have anything? And he goes, no. I said, oh, all right, maybe I can write something. And I hadn't seen him. I've known him since he was a little kid and hadn't seen him in decades. He was actually my daughter's friend.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was going through Chris Cardona's acting page because I always see who's out there, who anybody can
Yeah,
inspire
he has a
me.
lot of students and
And
stuff.
he has a different last name, Travis, than he grew up with. That's his stage name. And I'm looking at it, is this that kid? Because it kind of looks like him. So I wrote, hey, at the time I was doing a commercial, I said, would you be interested in auditioning for that? And are you so-and-so? He goes, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm an actor. And when I did Waitlist, first we did the commercial, somebody else's commercial. And then when I did Waitlist, I said, what else am I going to do? What am I going to write? And I'm trying to think, he's a nice-looking guy. What can I do with him? And then I started thinking about a few other actresses that I've been wanting to work with. The first actress that I actually reached out to was in the process of moving to California, so I was thinking of somebody like her. And I said, well, I've been wanting to work with Beck. I've always worked with Beck behind the scenes, never whatever, in the scenes. I said, all right, so let's have them read and see if there's a good chemistry and who would they be, and she's a little older and what, okay. And then I brought in Lauren Murtha, who is one of the funniest people in the world, and I wanted to make it a comedy. So that I wrote pretty quickly. We shot it one day, and then they wouldn't shut up. And so I kind of went in my office, and every second I was just in my office writing this thing and writing. I would get up in the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, and start writing. And I said to John, I think I just wrote a feature in a week. He said, Debbie, we shot on Friday.
Yeah.
You wrote it in 4 days.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I think I know what got to get you for Christmas. It's melatonin and
I have melatonin.
some kind of sedative. I think you need to be put down.
I do need to be put down. I do. I desperatally need
Yeah,
sleep.
well,
It's
that's
a
all right.
curse being so
Well, next time we work together, I'll club you over the head or something.
Okay.
Just straighten
Yeah.
you out.
I mean, give me an idea. Right. Something
Yeah.
in a day.
Yeah, I know, clearly. It doesn't take too long, right, John? We could come up with something right now.
I have so many things that I haven't. Every now and then I'll tell somebody, hey, do you want? I wrote a script for somebody, a friend of mine who's West Indian. He's been wanting to act, and he's just not really. He's not experienced. He said he acted in India, but he's not. I don't know. I have never seen anything, so I can't really put him in a big role. I gave him a line here or there, and so I wrote something for him. And I sent it to him. I said, is this something that would be of interest to you? And he goes, no, I really want a feature. I'm like, I can't write a feature. I can't do a feature for you. So I was talking to another actor, and I said, look, the terminology may be a little different in this, but if you're interested in it, take it away. Do whatever you want with it. And I haven't heard anything. He had a film in somewhere out of the state, and I never reached back again. I don't even know if he read it. But, I'll every now and then go, hey, is this something you're interested in? If you want to take it, take it. I'd rather see the stories made.
Sure.
Whether you hire me or not, I don't care.
You're prolific. You're constantly churning stuff out.
We don't walk the dog without coming up with 3 or 4 storylines.
Good for you. That's the way it should be. That's awesome.
It is. I love it. But the only problem, the reason I direct is because I want the stories to be told well. But when I'm making movies, I don't have time to write.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting to me.
Yeah. When you're juggling all the different jobs, because I did it in the theater and I did it in film and directed and acted at the same time. I do it a lot. As a matter of fact, most of my career has been doing that. And people always ask, is that hard? How do you do that? Well, it's not rocket science, really. But here's the trick. You have to be able to do each of those jobs separately well.
Yeah.
By themselves. So if you're an actor, you have to be able to be an actor. And if you're a director, you have to have directed without acting. You have to be able to do them all separately. Mm-hmm. Then when you get them together, it's just logistics. It's just time management and knowing how to leave a hole for yourself and knowing when to take this hat off and having a good AD on a set, having a good second set of eyes that says, so you're not constantly looking at playback and wasting everybody's time. You're just like, this is what I'm trying to do when I go in there, make sure I do it,
That's so
but you can it's really not that difficult. But what you do is you lose a percentage of what it could have been. I think for me, I probably lose a percentage of each of those jobs of the potential of what they could have been by doing them all. When I'm just an actor, it's a little more juice I can put into it, because when you're in there, you do have that other eye and when a lot of times, like I've cut 7 feature films. I've edited 7 feature films, and most of them I was in one capacity or another. So you're that head too. You're like, how's this going to cut?
Yeah.
I got to make sure that this. So you're constantly splitting this consciousness into all these different jobs, but it's totally doable. Mm-hmm. But it takes a lot. One of my heroes was Orson Welles, and he did it all. He did everything. Great actor, great writer, great. From radio to stage to film to he hosted shows. He could do everything. And if people go watch Orson Welles interviews. He was never precious about it. He was never high about it. He was very grounded in, this is a doable job. Ignorance is bliss, and that's how I approach it.
So you carry it though, because you don't. I've never watched you in anything and felt that your head wasn't where it needed to be.
Yeah.
Even though you may think you could have put more into it.
Oh, sure.
But I've seen other people do it, and I really try to talk people out of it if they're not very experienced.
Yeah, you have to know how to do it.
Because sometimes you're watching it going, they're thinking about what they have to do next. You can see it.
Yeah, well, it's just, like I said, it's time management. It's walking onto a set and knowing what you want to achieve as a director and getting your crew together and getting your DP working and setting the frame and all that blah, 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 and then rehearsing it and blocking it out, and then boom, done. AD goes to take a look. Now, give me a second. Mm-hmm. Now it's like the acting class. It's what's my action? What am I trying to achieve? How do I achieve it? And it's just me and that other person. And when you're playing an action strong enough, the writing doesn't matter, because the writing you assume is there. You assume you've done that work. You've learned the lines. The writing is there. Now I'm just trying to achieve something. And if the writing is correct, whoever else is in the scene with me most likely doesn't want me to achieve whatever that is in some way. And just the two of us playing our action and truthfully bouncing off each other, that's where the comedy comes out. That's where the drama comes out. That's where all of it comes out of that interaction. But if you just give yourself a beat after you've done the other work, it's the same as learning your lines going into a show, is the same as directing and going into a show. It's this job, I've said it, now I left a hole for myself, now I step in. Frame set, now I just do that job. And when I step out, and then when I go home and I dump the footage and I start, now that's that job. Mm-hmm. But it's just compartmentalizing the jobs, and it's just managing time and always you know this because you work with a lot of the same people all the time, and we all do. You create people around you that you trust, and that you want to spend 10 hours. You know, you don't want to do that with most people. I don't want to spend 10 hours with myself half the time. So you create people that you trust and know that they're looking out for what you're doing, and then it's not that hard. I've done it for so long that it's actually easier because I'm used to it. Directing and acting.
There's a rhythm.
Yeah, I just know how to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But if I could just act, that would be awesome too.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Yeah. I mean, I love the crew that we have right now. Is just, we've had good people along the way, and sometimes they move and things happen and whatever. But it's like the shorthand we have now. It's like they're reliable, they're friendly, but it doesn't become a party. You know, you have to be careful with friends. But they're just always there. I always know they have our backs. We always know that if we ever have to ask them to do something extra because somebody doesn't show up, it's not even ever a question.
That's why, for years my DP was Sean King. Sean moved away. Great guy. But you spoke this sort of unspoken, like everybody understood. Everybody understood. He was great. And I still love Sean. And if we could ever work together, he comes back, it'll be great. When we did the Proctor, we had these two young guys. Brilliant kids. I mean, kids. They're 26 years old or whatever. I shouldn't say that.
I know.
But this one, our DP, Jaden Moffat, again, they grew up in a different time. But we said, here's your homework before we start this. Watch all these John Hughes movies. This is the feel. Mm-hmm. And he and Trevor, the gaffer, these two young guys, gave that feel with the budget, with the equipment and budget we had. They gave that. But more importantly, on the set, they had the right emotional vibe. And that's all I care about.
Yeah.
If you could be the most talented person in the world,
and if
if you're a douchebag, I don't want, get out of here. I don't want to spend all these hours.
Exactly.
And these guys were great, and I work with them again in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. So always, for young people or artists of any kind, find like-minded people.
Yes.
More than, this is the most talented person. Find the like-minded person, the one that vibes with your frequency there, and it should be fun.
Yeah,
it should be fun. It shouldn't be torture. Even if you're doing heavy stuff, the exploration of that should be fun to do, and that's all about the people you work with.
Yeah.
Sean
actually shot A Brimstone Lullaby.
Did he? I didn't know that. Okay, good.
John was in it, and so freaking gorgeous.
Oh, Sean's great, man. Yeah. Sean was awesome.
Yeah. It's like for horror, we need to talk about that. Yeah. And there's a few other DPs that, like when John's in it, obviously he can't shoot it.
Yeah.
So, there's certain DPs that have my eye. I'm like, I can't wait to play with them that way.
Yeah, Sean shot Night for Day. He shot Night Never Sleeps. He shot Send No Flowers. I shot a little bit in a lot of those pictures, too, because it was one of those, can't be there that day, so I'm the DP for the day.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. No, there's certain things, especially features, when you don't have the money. There's one day you got to have it, and if somebody can't make it, the only people who can't be replaced are... I think the director can even be replaced, but the actors, obviously you got to have the actors. Yeah. But I even have like a backup plan. Like when my parents were sick, I told John if something happens and I got to fly out, you're directing it. Or like with a couple of guys, I told Mara if something happens, jump in.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I trust them to know the material enough.
It's all about trust.
Yeah. And Mark, were you? I don't know if you know Mark.
I met him on one of your things, whatever, a decade ago, or whatever.
Right. He is just so talented, and he has his own flow. And
in fact, those guys, that whole crowd, I think I spoke to their class when they went to college. CW Post.
Yeah.
They invited me to their film class to speak, and then I remember coming on the set, and
they were there.
They were there. I'm like,
I got them for that.
I was like, they're like, we know you. I was like, did I speak at your college or something? So, yeah, very
Mark
strange.
is just such a beautiful DP and colorist, and he started with a couple of guys, so we wanted to continue because he does have his own style. But he is the most economical shooter as far as we never go one beat past which because he's going to edit a couple of guys.
Sure.
We're not going to need that. So, but we don't need it.
Yeah.
And so we were able to really get through this. But he, so far, has never been wrong.
That's good.
Or okay, we do this, so now we're going to move here, so now we're going to move here, and everything's already set up because he wants a different place every time to really. Because we tend to be, I tend to be okay. So we're shooting. That's it. Let's get this done here.
Yeah.
It's the story. But he was all about moving everything. One point, he runs out of the house, and somebody goes, "Where's it going?" I said, "Because the light must be exactly where he wants it to be shot."
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's that. Like I said, the space and the light dictate a lot of what you want to do. It speaks to you at the moment you do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. I love. It'd be great if that was all I could do, but we keep trying. We
I
keep
know.
plugging away.
I know.
I'd like to act more. I'd love to do that more. Like I spoke to you earlier, I have a feature that I'm really trying to raise serious money for. That I think I got one really good heavy swing left in me as a director, but I'd like to do it without packing my car full of stuff and have a full crew and name people, and so I'm trying to do that right now.
Is it what genre?
It's a psychological thriller. It's sort of the premise is basically it's a woman woman in her late 40s who has a daughter, 18, 19, but the daughter is a real bad seed, really toxic. She's a single mother raising this daughter.
Oh my God!
And it's really, really awful. But now the daughter needs a liver transplant, and the mother is an immediate donor and doesn't want to do it. So there's a thread of this therapy session that this mother is forced to kind of deal with all of this stuff that she didn't even want to go to the therapy session, that runs through the center of the piece and slowly it's revealed what her childhood was like, who her mother is. She never knew her father, all this stuff. And you start to, through flashbacks, it's kind of a nonlinear story. You start to see why she doesn't want to help her daughter. But the whole point is it's about sacrifice, and it's about faith and doubt. And it's sort of like, there's some almost surrealistic horror elements to it as she goes through this therapy session that reveals all these flashbacks of her life and parts of her life. And it's a really good acting piece for kind of three generations of women. Her mother, which is like 80 something, then the main character, and then the young girl. So three generations of women. And it's called In the Garden. And actually I got the Gotham, which is formerly IFP, is my fiscal sponsor on it.
Oh, wow.
So I can take, there's a fiscal sponsorship page on the Gotham page now. If you look for In the Garden on the Gotham fiscal sponsorship page, you can donate and get a tax break, serious tax break. So I never had that before. So at least on that side, there's still the equity side that I'm looking for. The producer side, people want to come in and put money in to make it and be producers on it. But if you want to just donate to it, you can get a serious tax credit.
I have to look into that. I know Bellevue went through fiscal sponsor. There's a few projects that went through.
They're tough because they all have agenda. Each fiscal sponsor has sort of like, these are the kind of movies we make. But the Gotham's a big one because they did Moonlight. They did, some serious Oscar stuff. So at the very least, the script is vetted. Mm-hmm. It's like they put me on their slate.
Wow.
So they think it's a legit contender to kind of be something. And it's got that indie darling, Honora path. It's got that kind of a, you can see making this movie, but still got to find the money. So
I know.
I'm trying. I keep trying, Debbie.
We gotta. I mean, actually, I think we're. Did you send me any trailers?
I did. I sent you the Proctor trailer, and I sent you the Night for Day trailer. If you want to use.
Show the Proctor, I guess.
Yeah, pop the Proctor. Proctor's fun.
Oh, if you can't pull it up, don't worry about it. We can always just throw the link on at the bottom.
Yeah, you can check it out. You just search for the Proctor film. Also, don't forget it's Long Island Film Expo on July 10th. Friday, July 10th, I believe, that the Proctor goes up. And then the Manhattan Film Festival is June 19th if you're in New York City. So
yeah, I know I am in there, too, for one of my two of my films. And I probably can't go to...
Yeah.
mean, somebody will go, but we have also like a bunch of competing films and different film festivals.
But definitely check out the Proctor at the expo. That's our big one. That's our big push is the Long Island
Maybe
Film
I'll sit
Expo.
there and watch it because I really want to watch
I'll be at the door.
Okay.
I'll be at the door like this.
I just sit there and watch. I think one of the best was when I had my first two movies, Leaving and The Last Taxi Driver. One's a comedy and one is just a tearjerker. And we're sitting there, and I think wouldn't have been at Life. No, it wouldn't have been Life. It was at another film festival, but they were playing together. And I remember watching The Last Taxi Driver first and hearing people laugh. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And then with Leaving at one point, John's like, because somebody's crying. I'm like,
Oh.
yes.
Yeah, you just didn't want them reversed. That would have
Yeah, I
sucked.
didn't want to remember. Well, it wouldn't have mattered.
Why are they crying at this
It was
comedy?
great to see the reactions that you get from people.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it's awesome.
kind of makes it all worth it. But I have to get back to writing. But right now I'm in paperwork hell.
Yeah.
Cleaning
No,
up after
no.
a couple of guys and all the other fun stuff.
Yeah, the writing, like I said, the one I just talked about, the In the Garden one, the one I'm trying to raise money for, that was an interesting one because it took me, I had the idea 10, 12 years ago, and because I knew what it was, and I knew how I would want to do it, I kept putting it away because I was like, I'm going to want to do this right. I'm not going to want to do it like everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I would throw it away, and it kept jumping out of the garbage can. And then finally about a year and a half where I sat just when I drove out to Amagansett, I got a room on the water, and I just fucking wrote the thing.
Oh, I want to do that. John, I want to do that.
That's the way to do it. Just go away and write. And I just wrote it. Page one, rewrite, right, boom, and then a few drafts later. But it took me 10 years to sit because I knew if I did it, I'm like, well, now I got to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hate myself if I don't do it. And I already hate myself. So So I was going to hate myself worse. So now I'm in the process of hating myself. Anybody who wants to like
don't
me.
hate yourself. You're way too talented. But you know, artists, we all go through that.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain that to somebody, just recently, and I said, we all fucking go through that. You can be like, yeah, Weightless, I love your story. It's a spotlight film. I rock.
Right.
Everything's great. This is great. And the next day, like, I suck. Why am I doing this?
I will like myself more if people send me checks.
Yeah. We want Russ to like himself. So,
Yeah, send me money for my movie. Become a producer. We'll go to Cannes. We'll go all the bit. This one's the big one. So.
Yeah, I have one like that too that I have to get to. But I think it's actually time to wrap this up.
Oh, wrap up. This
has been so much fun. Russ and I go way back, and I do consider every now and then going back to acting, but I just don't have the time.
Well, we'll do A Few Good Men, and we'll gender reverse it. You already practiced from 20 years ago.
I'm so rusty; it's awful. But
well, at the very least, we'll get you up there doing something.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Russ for joining us
My
today.
pleasure.
This was a lot of fun. I want to thank all our viewers for watching us today. Governors podcast, Tony Walker, John Marine, who's always in the shadows. Whenever we need information, he's got it over there. But just want to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next Monday on the Best of Intentions podcast. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, and pencils down in
C.
3,
C.
2,
C.
pencils down. Pencils down, please, Mr. Schatz.
Come on, there's no way I could have done that bad.
Jack, Juice Newton did not discover gravity. Even if we gave you the highest possible score on the essay portion, it still wouldn't come up enough for a passing grade here.
Let me tell you something. I own this school, and I'm not gonna let you hold me back on my senior year.
Jack,
I ain't gonna take it. I ain't gonna take it.
You do summer school, or you're back here next year.
Eat my shorts. I am never coming back to this school.
Prepare yourself for the kind of film that comes along once in a generation, or once in 2 different generations.
Can we talk about the volume? That's my man. I'm kicking it at 9 right now, but I'm ready to crank it to 10 party, dude. You gotta bring it down a little.
people over there trying to wordle.
Who is that? Is that a custodian? Why don't you have a senior student making the morning announcements?
He actually is a senior. Can you give me some weed?
Well, you think I'm some kind of degenerate?
Duh. He's managed to ditch the exam for every...
Pardon me, Bob, but that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Take your pants off and make it happen. The girl from Flashdance. Take your pants off and make it happen.
Take your passion and make it happen, you idiot.
It's kind of a reverse loophole. It's this...
Also, he's become something of a
symbolic warning to all the other students on what they could become if they flunk out.
I have a problem with question 11.
What's the problem, Abigail?
The question contains an idiom that has an implicit socioeconomic bias. People of color are less likely to understand it.
Yo.
Emma Pincus. Look at her.
Yeah, she's cute.
Think she'd go out with me?
Monday's soccer, Tuesday's STEM, Wednesday's engineering.
When do you hang out?
What do you mean hang out?
I mean hang out. Be with friends, socialize, commit pranks, or low-level misdemeanors. Hang out.
I text and stuff.
Find a way to get this human defect out of this school on or before graduation day.
How would you like to make a few bucks working for us during the exam as a proctor?
No way, man. Are you freaking out of your mind?
What do you think a proctor does?
I'm playing some bitchin' tunes, but nobody's dancing. You don't drink, you don't smoke. What do you do?
Take a quick look and settle your regret.